Okay, so good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, the 27th of September. We're going to do a class this morning with a small ball. If you don't have a small ball, you can substitute it with a small fat pillow and just something to squeeze between your knees, which should do the job for most of the exercises. And also we'll use a band for a couple of exercises. But again, if you don't have one, you can do without, because we're only going to use it for a few things. Try and enjoy the class. Remember, if you have any injuries or issues, just leave it out if it's not right for you this morning. I will do for some of the exercises a sort of level 1 option and then a level 2 option. Okay, so obviously choose wisely. If you haven't been doing much Pilates over the summer or you're quite new to Pilates, I would definitely recommend staying with the level 1 choice. And only if you're pretty fit and healthy and you're pretty familiar with the exercises, then obviously go ahead and go to the next one if it's right for you today. Okay, so we're going to start really simple little breathing exercise. So if you lie down on your back and you're going to place your ball or your small pillow between your knees. If you usually use a bit of a head support, of course, go ahead and prop yourself up as you might need. And I'm putting my ball between my knees and then just lie yourself on down. Now, you want to think of your feet being hip distance apart, so not too wide, just check that. A little bit of a space between your feet, but not too much. Spread out your toes. And now if we start for our breathing exercise, just place one hand on your low tummy, so quite low down beneath the navel. And then place the other hand, on the upper abdomen. So just kind of literally the sort of feeling your lower ribs almost, that part of your body. And then just, you can close your eyes even if you want, just take a few calm, really relaxed breaths. And just really allow your abdomen to rise and fall. Don't stop it, don't hold in or anything. Just try and let your tummy rise and fall as you breathe. And when we're breathing and relying on our back like this, as you breathe in, your body's filling with air, your ribs are going to expand, your tummy will lift a little bit. And as you breathe out, you'll just feel the abdominals sinking and your ribs closing and the air coming out. So it's a nice little way to relax as much as anything else. Now, just to help us feel the coordination of the muscles with our breath, the core muscles and the abdominal muscles that we're trying to strengthen up, take a breath in and just allow the abdominals to rise again, or allow your belly to rise. Now just take a soft and slow exhale. And as you do that, gently squeeze the ball and gently feel your lower tummy just sort of drawing in a little more deliberately as you breathe out. And then as you breathe in, just allow the tummy to rise a bit. And as you breathe out, gently squeeze the ball. Think of drawing your low tummy muscles gently in under that bottom hand. Keep breathing out all the air you can. And just repeat this a few times and just try and use it as a tool to find a bit more awareness and connection to your core muscles as you breathe. And it's the exhale, the breathing out, that you want to feel a bit more of a deliberate drawing in around the waist, as if you're hugging, your muscles are hugging you as you breathe out, and the air is being pushed out of your mouth on that breath out, like a squeezing a tube of toothpaste. Let's go one more time. So breathe in, widen the ribs, allow yourself to really fill with air. And on the exhalation, gently draw in the abdominals, give your ball a gentle squeeze and expel the air. Now relax your arms at your side and we're just going to add a pelvic tilt. So it's really simple. We're going to breathe in again. And as you breathe out, you're gently going to squeeze your ball. And then this time, drawing in the tummy, allow the pelvis to gently tip. So you're tucked under, your tailbone's lifted up. And then you're going to inhale and rest your tail back down. Okay, just a few like that, really simple. Breathing out, squeeze and tilt. And then dropping back down. This is your opportunity to really focus your mind on, can you feel the sensation of those deep abdominals and pelvic floor muscles, gently drawing in and up as you breathe out. And a little bit of a stretch on the lower back for some of us. Now we're going to progress this to move up the spine a little bit. So breathing out, squeeze the ball gently, tilt the pelvis, and this time just roll up a little bit of your lower back and feel as if you're really standing on your feet. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, relax through the spine, roll down the back, and then drop the tail down. Okay, really simple. Keep going with this exercise. We're going to breathe out, draw in the abdominals, roll up through the back. Take a breath in at the top. And then breathing out, rolling down, lengthening out through that lower back, and dropping the tail down. One more time, super duper simple. Breathing in, tilt the pelvis, roll up. Keep a little squeeze on your ball. Imagine your knees are reaching forward. And then again, rolling back down the spine. We're going to do it a couple of times with the arms reaching over the head. So this is giving us a little more stretch on our back muscles. Take the arms up, palms facing in, and do the same movement. So we're tilting the pelvis, and we're going to roll up through our back, reaching your knees a little bit forward as you do that. Now keep a bit of a hug on the ball, and you're going to stretch your arms back to the side of your ears, thinking of length through the back of the neck, reaching energy through the fingertips. And now breathe out, soften the chest down, the middle back, through the back of the waist, through the lower back, and then let the tail rest back down. Bring the arms back to the ceiling one more time. And again, breathing, tilt the pelvis, roll up through the spine. Think of those knees reaching a little bit forward. Reach the arms back over the head, energy through the crown of the head, and then softening down through the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, and then the tail. Good. Bring your hips all the way down. And now we're going to bring our hands behind our head, interlace the fingertips. And now just lightly hug the ball a little bit, just so you're slightly more aware of the midline of your legs. And that might help you feel a little more sensation in your center, in your abdominals. So when we're ready, we're going to breathe out and curl the chest up. And then lengthen the spine back down. So very simple, just repeat a few times, practicing that abdominal curl, keeping our tail down, watch no tuck this time. You're just curling up the upper back and thinking of folding the ribs like we practiced last week. As you curl the chest, think of the front ribs sinking in and sliding forward. And you should notice that if you give your ball or your pillow a bit of a hug, it just helps increase the sensation in those muscles. So curl up again. Now this time, just like last week, if you grab your legs with your arm, curl up a little tiny bit higher, but try not to tuck the pelvis, keep the tailbone down, squeeze your ball and just try and breathe in this challenging position. When you breathe out, try and squeeze the ball a little more deliberately and draw the low tummy muscles in a little more deliberately. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. Now see if you can hold yourself in this challenging place and just let go of your legs and hold yourself there for another breath. And then we're going to rest our head back down. Okay, now we're going to progress to the 100, which is a breathing exercise, and it's an exercise designed to strengthen this area of your center. We're going to start with our feet down on the ground and do a part of the exercise. So reach your arms up this time. So you're going to curl up a little bit differently. We're going to press our arms down in a moment. Now, already be squeezing the ball and try and feel more sensation and more connection in your deep abdominals. As you breathe out, you're going to curl up, think ribs sinking down, sliding forward, hit your position. And now we're going to breathe, inhale and exhale. Breathe in. Now, as you breathe out, squeeze the ball and think deep tummy muscles in and up. I'm going to do it one more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Now we're going to take a little rest back down. Okay, now level 1 people, you're going to repeat that another time, exactly the same, feet down. If you're more experienced in Pilates and you're fit and strong, you're going to bring your legs to tabletop and you're going to squeeze the ball and press your feet together. So already be squeezing the ball in your feet so you feel that inner thigh already really working. We're going to breathe in here As we breathe out, we're going to curl up to our 100 position. Keep squeezing that ball, and you're going to breathe in. Then you're going to breathe out. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. The arm pump is to pump out the rhythm. This is a warm-up exercise, so it's supposed to get your blood flowing, it's supposed to get you nice and warm. If you feel you need a rest, put your head back down. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. Good, and then rest your head back down, pull your knees into your chest, have a little rest, stretch up a little, stretch the lower back a little bit. Now we're going to rock to sitting up, and we're going to have our feet planted. We're going to keep our ball in our knees for one more exercise, and we're going to start with the half roll back. Okay, so hug your ball slightly, reach your arms out, round your spine, and try and find that from the C curve in the lower part of your back. Okay, now keeping the C curve shape, we're going to breathe in and rock back halfway, and then breathe out and round forward. So 2 more times. Inhale, halfway back, and exhale, rounding forward. One more time. Inhale, halfway back, and exhale, rounding forward. Good. Take a little pause. People that are level 1, new to Pilates, keep going with your half roll back 3 more times. If you're strong at Pilates, then you are happy doing the roll up, put the ball between your feet, and we're going to do 3 times full roll up. So progress if you feel that's the right choice for you. And you're going to make sure you're breathing as you move through the exercise. No jerks, keep it nice and smooth. And as you're going, keep a little hug on your ball or your pillow. And remember, the full roll up is a challenging exercise for many. So if it's challenging, just stay with the half roll back, the last one we did. Let's all go one more time. And then breathing out and rolling up. Good. Okay, now we're going to move on to a leg circle using our ball to help us feel more sensation in the back of our leg, our hamstrings and glute muscles. If you have a regular Pilates ball, you're going to have your heel on it. If you don't have a ball, you could put your pillow under your heel, a little cushion instead, okay? So firstly, go ahead, use your arms if necessary, or if you're strong, reach your arms out and just bring yourself back onto your back. Now, you want to have the heel that's on the ball. If you straighten your leg and then press your heel down really firmly into the ball and then release, what I want you to search for is a feeling of the back of the leg firing up. When you kick your heel down, you should feel these hamstring muscles. Now, if you don't feel your hamstring, like for sometimes if I lock down my knee, for example, I can't feel my hamstring anymore, I just feel my front of my leg. If that happens and you can't feel much sensation in the back of your leg, bend your knees slightly more. And then when you dig down, you should definitely feel the back of your leg working quite a lot, okay? Now, this leg is the stabilizing leg. So you're going to keep pressing in the ball or your pillow, put your hands on your hip points and try and feel that you're square, your hips are level. And then you're going to take your other leg, this is my left leg, up to tabletop, keeping my body square. Now, level 1 people, just let your foot flop down and just keep your knee up to the ceiling. Level 2 people, if you have healthy hips and you have good mobility in your hips, straighten your leg up, okay? Now, we're going to circle, cross the body, round and up. Circle the top leg, but concentrate on pushing down into the ball with your supporting leg, okay? This leg is working really hard. Now we're going to reverse, out, round and up. So the top leg is circling, but our bottom leg is working very hard, strength training, keeping that pelvis really steady. Last one. And up. Good. Bend that knee and take a little rest. Now we're going to set up for side 2. So shift the ball over to your second side. And just firstly practice pressing down into it. So if, like me, you can push down in your knee, That's no good because I can't feel the back of my leg like that. So you want to bend your knee slightly or if you can't get much sensation, bend your knee a bit more. And you should really try and search and find that hamstring strength, okay? Keeping the pelvis level, we're going to take our right knee this time, or the other knee over hip. So level 1 choice, keep the foot relaxed. Level 2, straighten it up to the ceiling, okay? Now we're going to go across the body, circle round and up. Across the body, keep your pelvis square, nicely aligned through your body, and keep working the heel into the ball. That leg is going to help you keep your pelvis stable. One more time, and then reverse it. Out, round and up. It should feel like you're working quite hard on the ball leg. Last one. And up. Good. Now relax, bend that knee into your chest. Now you've got a choice. Level 1, hug your knee into your chest, rock up. Level 2, you can practice a roll up. Bring yourself up to sitting. Now we're going to roll like a ball, and again, 2 choices of level. First level, ball in the knees, hands behind the knee. Let's all start with this one together actually. So round your back, get your balance, feet together, squeeze your ball, relax your shoulders. Now your spine hopefully is in a curved shape, and you're trying to initiate from your center this roll. So try and really feel like you're going to zip up a really tight pair of trousers, really draw those abdominals in really deep until you can almost curl your tail up off the ground, and then press your legs forward and rock. So we're after a controlled roll back and forward, initiating with our deep tummy muscles. One more time. Good. Now continue with this level if this is challenging for you. If you're more advanced, the more challenging position to have the ball is between your heels and your bottom like this. Okay, so then your ball is much tighter. So your body is in a smaller position and it requires a bit more mobility. Now hold yourself here. So carry on with level 1 if that's right for you. If you want to have a go at this harder position, go ahead. Try to keep the thighs and chest together and try to avoid opening out as you rock up, which is really hard. You can see I'm not doing a great job, but keep my chest to my legs. One more time. And rock up. Okay, good. Place your feet down. Now, if you don't have a ball, this might not work as well, but you can give it a try. If your pillow's small, it'll be okay. We're going to round down onto our backs last time and do one last series of abdominals. So round yourself back. And again, feel free to use your arms. Make sure you support yourself. Okay, we're coming all the way down onto our back. Now we're going to take the ball into our hands and just hold it like a little something to hold, prop. Feel your tummy muscles gently in, supporting you. We're going to bring our legs carefully to tabletop. And then we're going to lift our head and chest off the ground. And I want you to think of reaching the ball over your right knee towards your right shin. And as you do that, straighten out the left leg. Okay, this is our single leg stretch. We're going to breathe, switch, stretch the other one. Breathe, switch, stretch the other one. Now you're just tapping the ball on your shin or ankle and trying to keep your back in this challenging position. You should be feeling your abdominals quite a lot. Let's go one more time each side. And then we're going to hug our knees into our chest and we're going to relax our head down. Okay, now, number 2 exercise, we're going to practice the double leg stretch. If you don't have a Pilates ball or you're quite new to Pilates, I would not use the prop for this one, just put it to the side. If you're familiar with the double leg stretch, you're going to put the ball in your ankles and we're going to try and hug it in our ankles. Okay, now the version we're going to do today is hands behind the head. So if you interlace your hands, place them behind the center back of your head. You're going to take our legs up to kind of tabletop and you're going to squeeze your ball. And then when you're ready, you're going to breathe out and lift up your chest. Good. Now this is a hard position to be in. Keep breathing, keep squeezing your ball. And then nice and calmly, as you next breathe in, you're going to straighten your legs out to a high diagonal. and breathe out, and then pull your knees back in. So we inhale to straighten, and we exhale to pull back in. Now keep the curled position, and when you pull your knees in, think of pulling your tummy in deep as you pull your knees in. Let's go 2 more times, reaching out, drawing back in. Last one, reaching out and drawing back in, and then rest your head down. Okay, good. Now, just take a full length stretch out. So just enjoy a little comfort rest in the middle of the session. Stretch your body out, reach out, enjoy a little stretch. We're going to roll onto our side and do the side lift exercise, which we did last week. And we're going to put the ball in our ankles for this one, or a little pillow in your ankles. Okay, so when you're ready, put the ball in place. We're going to have our feet flexed, and then you're going to lie on your side with your head on your arm, as long as your shoulder isn't injured. Okay, and then put your spare hand on the mat. Now, what you should feel is when you squeeze the ball and hug your legs, you'll feel your inner thighs, but that should also help you feel more connected, more sensation in your center. Okay, so go ahead, try and squeeze the ball, and then see if you can just float your legs up. Keep a strong squeeze on that ball, and try and feel your tummy muscles gently drawing in. Imagine you could lift your spine and be an inch taller. Now from here, we're going to breathe out and lift our legs a couple of inches up, and then back to hover. And then again, exhale, lift up and down. Keep that pattern going, breathing out, squeeze and lift. And what you should be feeling is your side body working, the side muscles, not your lower back. If you notice it's a bit in your lower back, bring your legs slightly more forward, and that should take you out of your back and make it more about your side and front. Now hold your legs hovering if you can, and just really gently squeeze the ball, release the ball. Breathe out, squeeze the ball, release the ball. Last one, hold it. Now try and keep that strong, stable center, and see if you're able to balance. And then possibly lift head and feet up a bit more. And then take a rest. Okay, we're going to roll over for the second side. And all we're doing is side lifts, so you don't need to switch ends. I'm going to switch ends because I'm recording this, but we're only doing this one exercise, so don't worry if you're facing the other way. Okay, so straighten out yourself long, flex your feet. Now get your balance, hover your legs. Now try and squeeze the ball and feel how when you're really hugging your legs together, it makes you more sort of strong in your middle, okay? A bit more connected in your middle. Now, as you breathe out, we're going to lift our legs slightly higher and then back down. And again, breathe out and lift and lower. Even in this exercise, try to feel really tall. So you're promoting your kind of upright posture, even though you're lying on your side. You're not rounded, your neck is long, your back is lifted. Hold yourself. Now we're going to really gently squeeze and then release. Breathe out, squeeze and release. One more time. Breathe out, squeeze. Now, if you feel happy balancing, last little one as a balance. Hold yourself there and then relax down. Okay, bring yourself up to sitting. We're going to do 2 seated exercises. The first one is a simple spine stretch forward. Okay, so no choreography to learn, really easy. Take your legs out in front of you. Remember, you're welcome to sit up on a block. If you feel your hips are slightly uncomfortable, that will really help you achieve this exercise because it's a back stretch, not our hips want to stay sort of quiet. Okay, so try and sit up nice and tall. Reach out your arms. Now flex back your ankles, not just your toes. Sometimes people get into sort of Barbie foot position. Really pull the ankle joint back. Okay, lift yourself up. Now when you round over, you want to feel as if you're lengthening the back line of your body. So the back of the legs are stretching and the back of the spine, the muscles in your back should feel a stretch. And then roll back up as if you're sat really upright against a wall. Breathe in And breathe out. Think each little vertebra, we're trying to round and get a little bit of segmental movement in each part of our back. Stretch forward and then roll back up. Now, sometimes we get a bit stuck in a movement pattern and it's quite hard to feel where you're tight. So you have to really kind of concentrate on where does your back not move that well and where does it move very easily, and try and focus on trying to create a bit more movement in the tightest parts of your back, the joints that are a bit less keen on rounding. And then we're going to roll back up and sit up nice and tall and relax. Okay, now the second back exercise we're going to do sitting is the saw. Now, those of you that did the classes last week, we were talking about when you reach across, we should be feeling a stretch on the side of your lower back. Okay, that's one of the goals of this exercise. If we lift our hip up when we do that, you can see there's daylight under my hip, then I don't feel the stretch in my back. Okay, whereas if I can really anchor my two hips down and reach across, then I get the side back stretch. Okay, so it's really important to keep your pelvis still. Okay, I'm going to face the camera so you kind of get the idea. Start with the ball. If you don't have a ball, just creep your fingers along because you obviously can't roll a cushion. Put your ball in your right hand and then take your arm out to the side and sit up tall to start with. I mean, remember you can bend your knees and try and feel your equal sitting on each hip. As we roll to the side, we're going to roll the ball or walk your fingers as far over as you are able to maintain your left hip still on the ground. Okay, so I don't want to see daylight. You want to really anchor your left hip and then roll back up. Okay, try it again. If you're doing a good job anchoring your left hip, you will feel your side of your lower back and side waist will be feeling a stretch. But you've got to keep anchoring down the opposite hip. And then roll back up. Okay, now we're going to progress this one more time, roll over, but really keep anchoring down that opposite hip. Now we're going to stretch across. Our top hand is going to reach towards the opposite foot. You're going to look down towards that knee, but again, keep focused on keeping that hip down, and you should feel it gives you quite a strong stretch in the side of your lower back muscles. Bring yourself back up and unwind. Okay, side two. So again, anchoring down through our sitting bones, we're going to side bend as far as we can keep that opposite hip down. And then roll back up. Okay, and again, side bend, keep that opposite hip down. And then come back up. Okay, we're going to add the little reach on this next one. So side bend. Take your top arm across and try and reach with a little toe, but keep that opposite hip down. Okay, and then you should notice that gives you a good stretch on the side of your back. Bring your arm back up and sit yourself up tall. Okay, good. Now, some of these stretches do take practice, so keep searching for that if you're not quite feeling it as well yet. Okay, we're going to lie on our tummy next and put the ball under your chest. If you're using a pillow or a cushion rather, this might not work as well. So just practice it without a prop if it's not working for you. You want to have the ball under the sort of front of your chest, lying onto your front. Now have your hands flat, but your elbows should be off the ground in this position. So if you're down here, your shoulders often want to come forward. So you want to have your hands slightly more back, elbows lifted. And that should allow you to get your shoulders back a bit more, okay? Now, firstly, grow tall in this position. And then as you lift your chest up, I want you to imagine you're pushing that ball forwards and out in front of you. And then come down. Try it a couple of times, searching for a feeling of movement in the middle back, this one, between the sort of shoulder blades area. This is often where the spine can become very stiff. So we're after sort of a sensation of movement in that area of your back. If you don't have a Pilates ball, just imagine you're pushing one forward and try and search for the same feeling in your body. Now, try through without the ball, and the ball is there to help teach us to find the movement in that part of our bodies. So now if you try without the ball, still feel as if you're trying to push the ball forward and trying to create that bit of movement in the mid-back. Okay, so it's that kind of anti-granny back exercise, if you like. We're trying to watch that we don't become overly rounded in the upper mid-back, but keep the flexibility and length in that part of the spine. Last one. And down. Now we're going to sit back in a rest position, so you use your hands, and as long as your healthy knees and hips are healthy, see if you're able to sit back on your ankles, and then reaching the arms out in front of you. Take a few deep breaths. Now this is a shoulder stretch for some people, and you can straighten your arms more to create more stretch in your shoulders, or even come up onto your fingertips, that will stretch your shoulders. And also your back is getting a bit of a stretch. So just breathe into this position. Now you can do the little walk to the side stretch. So if you take your two hands to one side of your mat, that will stretch one side of your torso. Take a big deep breath. And then walk your hands to the second side and take a nice deep breath into that side. Good, and then really simple, just come onto your hands and knees, and we're going to do a simple cat stretch. So on your hands and knees, just let your spine gently round, look down at your knees, lengthen out to a flat back, and then gently arch and look a little forward, and then come back. One more time, rounding the spine, lengthening out, and then gently arching the back, and come back. Good, now just take a seat for a moment in a comfortable place. We're going to do a thread the needle rolling the ball if you have one, and I just want to make sure everybody understands how to get the best from this exercise, the most from this exercise rather. So sometimes when we twist in the thread the needle, we unintentionally have our back in a bit of a rounded shape, and then it's much harder to feel the mid-back if that's the position you're doing it from. So if I do it wrong to start with, often people are a little bit kind of hunched up in their back, and then when they try and roll under, it's very difficult to feel the middle back moving if you're a bit rounded, okay? Whereas if I try and create length in my back, and imagine my head's reaching long away from my tailbone, and then if I try and roll my ball, I can feel it much more strongly in my mid-back, even if I am only going that far. So I'm not really going that far underneath, but I can really feel my mid-thoracic spine getting a rotation, which is the goal of this exercise. Now I could continue and do it a bigger movement, my shoulder almost coming down, but you must make sure you're really feeling it in that place. Okay, so if you don't have a ball, just reach your hand through. Okay, so practice. You can do 3 times each way or swap alternately if your arm gets tired. Just watch for the rounding. Keep the spine nice and long, natural curves, and then your joints are in a better position to create that rotation. So you should be able to feel it more clearly. Keep reaching your tail away from the top of your head as you rotate. You can, if you're using a ball, you can allow the ball to sort of roll up towards your elbow. And again, we're trying to feel that in the mid-back. Okay, so try it on the second side if you haven't already, and try and feel that it's a twisting movement. Okay, so finish it off. I'll just do one on this arm, so I'm trying to keep my length. And coming back. Okay. So some of the exercises, the small details really help you feel the movement in the right place. Okay, good. So if you bring yourself around to sitting down again, now we're a bit warmer, we're going to revisit the roll up, and we're going to start with a sort of prep and then progress. Okay, so because we're using props today, if you have the ball or your little pillow in your ankles and keep your knees bent, And then if you've got a band, you use a band. If you don't have a band, you can just do this flat. But if you have one, it's another way of helping us achieve the exercise. So we're going to put the band hooked over my feet, and my feet are flexed. Okay. And then now, firstly, if you hug the ball, so get your legs quite close together so you can squeeze the ball a bit, and that will help you keep sort of strength up into your hip. Okay. Round your spine and think of slightly trying to tuck your bottom under. Okay, now all we're going to do is round backwards, and it's as if your lower back is trying to aim for the mat. And then breathe out and round up and forward. Okay, and keep practicing that. And this is quite a good way of training the roll up, because you've got the support of your band. And if you squeeze your ball, that will help your hips stay into the picture too. Okay, if you feel confident, go a little bit further, try and almost go and put your lower ribs down. And then breathe and come up. Okay, so I'm going to give you a choice now. You can continue with this exercise, rolling down to the lower back or the ribs for a few more repetitions. Or if you're really happy doing the full roll up, you can get rid of the band, straighten your legs and do a few more full roll-ups. I'm going to continue with this one. It's quite a nice one because it really helps you slow it down a bit and breathe out as you sit up. You're really having to use your abdominal muscles to pull you up each time. Let's go one more time. And then breathe and bring yourself up. Okay, now if we take the band from our feet and just put it down next to you so you can grab it in a moment. I'll just put mine over my head actually. And we're going to put the ball back between our knees and lie on our backs and do another bridge. Okay, so a little bit like we started the class with. So you're going to pop the ball between your knees again. Okay, and then go ahead and lie down. Now, we're going to start with a couple of plain pelvic curls. Keep a moderate hug on your ball. And we're going to do exactly what we did earlier in the class. Think of drawing in the abdominals as you tilt your pelvis, and then feel as if you're peeling your spine up, one vertebra at a time. At the top position, keep squeezing your ball. Try and keep the abdominals gently drawing in, front ribs soft, and you're trying to curl your tail and almost get your pubic bone to lift up more. And that will help you feel your back, hip, your bottom essentially. And then gently roll back down. Okay, let's go one more time, just a simple one. Hug your ball, draw into your tummy, and roll up through your back. Take a breath in. And then roll down. So this is a good anti-chair exercise. If anybody's working at home or a computer a lot, we tend to get a little tight in our front hip and the back of the hip gets a bit weak. So it's a good exercise if you're a desk worker. Okay, now we're going to progress this if you feel good. If you're feeling fit and healthy and you don't have any niggles in your back, then you can try this progression. However, if you're quite new to the class or new to Pilates, I just would do the same again, a few more repetitions. So when you're ready, you're going to roll up through your spine one more time. And then take your fingertips and just really lightly try and feel the sides of your hips. Just tap yourself and see where you are. And try and feel that right and left are as equal as possible. Okay. Now, draw in the tummy, lift the pubic bone up, and think of the knees reaching forward. You're going to give your ball a really strong squeeze and see if you can straighten one knee without your two hips shifting. So watch that you haven't done a funky twist. Try and keep your pelvis level and then put the foot down. Keep your pelvis square and try and straighten the other leg. And then down, and then we're going to have a break, so roll back down. So if you feel in your body that it's done a big twist, one of the goals is to really keep yourself square while you do this. And if you really feel you can't control it, I would go back to just doing it with 2 feet on the floor instead. Okay, so let's just try it a couple more times. We're going to roll up, Try and keep your body nice and square and straighten out one leg. Keep squeezing that ball, keep standing into the foot on the floor. You should feel this hip really working. Put your foot down and then see if you can go the other side. So squeeze, keep square pelvis. Try and straighten one knee, keep yourself square. Put your foot down and then let's roll down the back. Good, lovely. And then let's just take out the ball and just chuck it out of the way and grab your strap, and we're going to just give ourselves a quick stretch. Okay, so those exercises are quite strong on the hamstring. You've probably felt that. So this should feel quite nice to give them a bit of a stretch after that. So if you hook your foot in a strap, if you don't have a band, you could just do this with your hands behind your leg instead. Okay, if you've got a band, it's quite helpful for this one. So just lower your leg down and just hinge it up and down a couple of times. And try to feel that you keep the back of your hip on the mat, the pelvis doesn't tuck. Keep it heavy tail as you lift your leg up. Holding your stretch. Now, I quite like putting my elbows up to the side and getting my shoulders and chest a bit more open. You could do a point flex of the ankle. That will create a little more stretch down the back of the leg. Now, really anchor your sit bone down and then try and draw the leg across a couple of inches towards the opposite shoulder. And this really helps us find the stretch through that outer hamstring in the side of your glute. So that's quite a nice place to stretch. Just hold it there a few moments. And then we're going to bring our leg back up. And then we're going to take a moment to just walk the other foot in or rejig your band on the other side. And then just take a little stretch, a couple of minutes stretching. So just lower and lift the leg a few times. Again, we want to keep the pelvis square when we're stretching. So it will actually give you a slightly better stretch than if you let yourself go a bit cockeyed. So try and keep the right and left side equal. Now you can hold it there. You can do a point flex. Keep reaching your sit bone down. And then if you draw that leg across your body to the opposite shoulder, it might only need to go about an inch to feel this stretch. It's quite, if you're in a good position, it should feel quite strong quite quickly. Hold it there for a few moments. And then you're going to bring your leg back up. And then we're going to take our band out. Okay, good. So we're going to bring ourselves up to sitting. Feel free to rock up or practice a little roll up, if those are something you normally do. Okay, now the next section, we're going to do a bit of mobility work on our hips and our back. And don't force yourself into these positions if you have any injuries or any pain in your knees or hips, okay? So try and make sure you feel good. They're quite good stretches, but if you're injured, they might, you just got to be a bit more careful. So we're going to start in a 90-90 hip position. So if you look at your legs, you look like half of the sort of Isle of Man flag with your knees out at 90 degrees. Okay, now this is a hip stretch sitting like this for most people. If you lift your hip up a bit and then really gently ease that hip back down, you'll feel it's getting the stretch in this hip. You're basically internally rotating that hip and it's going, and it's often a bit reluctant. So just give it a little gentle encouragement. Now we're going to hold our ball. If you don't have a ball, just do the finger walking instead. Take your ball in the same hand as feet side of your body and then the other arm out. Okay, try and sit up tall in this position. Now we're going to reach away from our feet, that side, and you're going to reach as far away as you can and then put your hands down in the far corner of your mat. So you're in a sort of side lean. This is a nice rotation movement. Now we're going to sweep the ball around until you put it in the other corner of your mat. And then you're gently trying to encourage your chest to look down to the floor. So you're in a twist, okay? Now, if you feel okay here, you're going to roll the ball or walk your fingers forward and allow your chest to really lower down. And then bring yourself a little bit back up. Undo your arm. Sit yourself up and then you're going to side bend the other way. So this is like a mermaid type combination. These often are called these type of sort of twists and side bends. Okay, we're going to repeat a couple of times. We're going to reach away from your feet, place your hand down. You're going to rotate to look at the floor, and then you're going to roll the ball forward, stretch yourself, lower your chest, roll back up, unwind, sit up, and mermaid stretch the other way. And we're going to do it 3 times. This is our last repetition. So really reach away from you, place your hand down, turn your chest to face the floor, and then roll the ball forward, roll it back, and then unwind, and then you're going to side bend towards the feet. Good. Now we're going to come onto our forearm of this arm that's not your feet end essentially. And if you have a ball, if you just put your ball under your rib or armpit, and that's to remind you to keep lifted. Okay, so in this position, we often just want to sort of collapse. So really lift yourself up. So you're trying, imagine the ball's like a hot ball of lava. You don't want to touch yourself on it. Okay, and then you're going to stretch out your other leg, put your hand on your hip, and then you're going to really straighten that top leg and see if you can just lift it up a bit. And then down. Now, as you lift up your leg, try not to sag your underside. Okay, now we won't have a lot of movement if we keep our leg parallel, and you should be noticing this side hip area has to work really hard. So keep your underside lifted, keep that lifted. Now hold it there and just try and go up and down a little bit. And you should feel it's quite intense on the side hip. Now hold it, we're going to side kick, like a nice sharp kick forward. So when you're ready, kick the leg forward, point your toe and reach back, back. So we can go flex, forward, back. That thing like a martial arts kick, like really nice, good, strong movement in your hip. One more time. Reach back. Now keep reaching your leg back, and if you can, you're going to reach back and try and grab onto that foot. Okay. Gently encourage your heel towards your bottom. This should feel like a strong stretch on your thigh, not your knee. Not pain in the knee anyway. Muscles across the knee might stretch, but not actual sharp pain or anything. Good. Now one last little hip stretch. This is quite hard, so this is optional for people that feel they've got quite good hip mobility. You're going to take your leg across the other one. So you're sitting like this. So this is like the figure of 4 hip stretch. You're getting a hip stretch here. And then if you use your hands to sit yourself up, you're trying to gently sit up in this yoga stretch position. And again, it's a stretch for the side of the hip around here. That's where you should notice it. Sit up nice and tall, put your hand around your knee, and then you can turn and look over your shoulder into a little twist. And then return, okay? So we're going to do that whole little mobility sequence on our second side. So firstly, when you first sit in your 90-90 hip position, it will feel different to the first side because none of us are symmetrical in our hips. So just notice whether this hip feels a little bit stiffer, a bit more grumpy, or if it's happier. Just lift it gently up, gently encourage it down, okay? Remember, it shouldn't be pain, no pain in the knee doing this. If it's not right for you, if you're feeling like it's a bit too much for you, just do a different position. Okay, now we're going to put the ball in the hand nearest our feet. You're going to sit up tall and you're going to reach away from your feet. Put your hand down on the far corner of your mat, and then you're going to twist your chest and look down and roll the ball away. And then come back up, unwind, put the ball on the floor and side bend over. Now this sequence of side stretches and spine twists should feel pretty nice, so try and enjoy it. Reach away. The rotation should feel pretty nice on your back. And this should feel quite a nice stretch. Reach forward. Roll up. Untwist. And side bend. Last time. You're going to reach away. Put the hand down. You're going to twist. Roll the ball forward. Come back up. Unwind, side bend over. Good. Now we're going to come onto our forearm again, and then you're going to put the ball in, or a little pillow if you want, underneath you. And it's just as a little reminder for your brain that you're not going to collapse. Okay, so keep lifted away from it. Stretch out your top leg, and you can put your hand on your hip. Now, you might feel you can't really lift your leg very much in this position, because often this is very challenging movement in our hip, this kind of side to side. So just try and lift and lower it. Keep reaching your leg long. And if it's very uncomfortable on your hip, you could also just lie down, and that'll make it easier, okay? Now, if you're okay to have yourself propped up or do this lying down, that's also fine. Lift your leg up and just do little up and downs. Keep the body lifted away from that little ball. Hold it. Now we're going to side kick, big sharp kick forward, and then reach back, back. Flex the foot forward and back. So think martial artists, give it a really good strong kick and back. Last one. Back. Now reach that leg far behind you, and then if you can, reach back, try and grab onto your foot, take it into a little thigh stretch. Hold yourself there. Good. And now this yoga stretch, again, it's quite a tricky one. It's quite a difficult one. You're going to bring your foot across to the other side of that knee. And this should all, you're like in the figure of 4 hip stretches. So this part of your hip should feel quite stretched. Okay. And then if you're okay here, the progression would be to try and sit up. Okay. You're going to hold on to the back of the leg, pull in gently, and then turn and look over your shoulder. And then come around. Okay, so we're going to do a bit of weight bearing on our arms next. You could do this on your forearms if you've got wrist issues. If you're healthy and happy on your hands, then go ahead with hands. So just nice and simple, just coming onto our plank position. So either a forearm plank or a straight arm plank. Remember to feel lifted to your center. You're going to step out and just hold your body weight in this position. Okay, think of the back of the neck lifted, abdominals lifted, nice and strong. Okay, now if you're happy here, stay there and do your leg lifts. If you need a break, come onto your knees, have a break, and then step back into a plank. Okay, so go at your pace. We want to challenge ourselves to get stronger, but obviously you've got to watch your own body as well. Good, and then come onto your knees. Everybody give your wrists a quick shake. Now we're going to do the walk to the feet ending that I quite often do. And remember, you can just skip this out if it's not right for you today. So if you're okay, one more time on your hands, we're going to step out into a plank and hold ourselves there for a few breaths. So nice and strong. And then you're going to lift your hips up to the ceiling, walk your feet in a little bit. Okay, and then just one at a time, bend each knee and just really stretch out that back leg, calf. Breathe. Just kind of go through your feet, send your heels down. And we're going to walk our hands and feet towards each other and allow your knees to bend as much as you might need. I quite like to hold elbows and then give your head a little shake, relax, have a little forward stretch, bend your knees a little bit more perhaps, and then a little bit less. And then we're going to roll up to standing and just let your arms relax, lift up to your waist, and just kind of unroll yourself. Take a moment standing at the top, and then just do one roll down there. So just one more gentle spine roll down. And then rolling back up, nice and easy. That's it. Good, now come to standing gradually, and we're going to do 2 standing little exercises. The first one, using the ball in our ankles for our rises. So I'm going to point you off my camera differently. So if you have the ball in your ankles and then your feet quite close together, now if you quite strongly hug your shins into each other, as if you're really trying to squash that ball, you should really notice that those muscles up the inner part of your leg up into your hip, okay? So it's making you more connected around the pelvis and the hip joints. Stand up tall And then just see if you're able to rise up and down, but keep really squeezing that little ball. Okay, now it's helping you feel more aware of the muscles up into your hips, especially the midline of the legs. Try to lower and lift with control. The lowering the heels, try to really softly control it nice and slow. So you're not collapsing down, you're really using your muscles, strengthening your feet and ankles. That's it. Nice strong hug with your little ball. Last 2 times. And lower. Good. Now give your legs a shake. We're going to finish with a balance. And I'm going to give you different levels for your balance. Okay. So one version, hold the ball out to the side, or an object, could be your band or a sock, doesn't have to be the ball. Stand up nice and tall and just see if you can balance on one leg. Okay, so this is first option. Okay, put that down. Now, same again on the other leg. If you find this is your level, stay with this level. If you think this is pretty easy, you can hold yourself here, no trouble. Just switch the ball from hand to hand, just to create a little bit more of a challenge. That's it, and this is level 2. Let's switch legs. Now level 3, this is a tricky one, okay? This makes it much harder to balance. So you're on one leg and you're going to look at the ball, and as you swap hands, look at the ball. Now your brain doesn't have the same visual feedback. It's much more challenging. And then have a go on the other leg. Remember, stay at your level. How well we can balance has a lot to do with our age as well, often, because balance does become much more challenging as we get older. So go at the level that's right for you. And also know that you can improve your balance with practice. So it is worth trying to do little balance exercises. Good, great. So come back onto your 2 feet, everyone. Just relax, drop your ball, just stand up nice and tall for a couple of moments. Nice and easy, and just finish with a couple of nice big arm circles. So breathe in, big stretch up, breathe out, circle down. Okay, so it doesn't have to be complicated moving your joints and keeping your body mobile. Something as simple as this, if you do it daily, it will help to keep your shoulder mobility and also your upper back. Last one. All the way down. And you're done. Well done, everyone. So you can go and enjoy your day, done your Pilates. Let me just pause recording.